Good morning, summer cohort. I hope you're doing well. Missed seeing you last Wednesday, and thank you for being flexible. I really appreciate it. I wanted to send you a video or a few videos on some of the plants that we've been going over. For those of you who've missed a couple of sessions, and also for just everyone to get a good review. So our plant last week was black walnut. And the botanical name is Juglans Nigra. Black walnut is a grand native tree of North America. It's very abundant in the East Bay and has a pretty easy way that we identify it. So I have some leaves here. So when we look at the leaves, it's actually this big, huge kind of offshoot of the stem is the leaf, and these are the leaflets. So the leaflets are actually toothed. Each leaflet is a toothed leaflet, and then it looks like they're opposite, but they're actually alternate. They're slightly alternate, the leaflets, and also as well as the leaves, slightly alternate. So that's one way that we can identify the black walnut. Also the bark has deep crevices and ridges in the bark. So Juglans Nigra, it's pretty easy to identify. It's very abundant. The parts that we use are the leaf and the outer green hull of the nut. So here's what the nut looks like. Very similar to an English walnut. The outer green hull is what we use as the medicine, and it does make a really strong dark brown black dye. So you do want to be really careful with it when you're handling it. Wear gloves or just plan to have your hands be dyed a dark color. So this plant is also known as what we call alleliopathic, meaning that in simple terms it doesn't play well with others. It's a tree that through the juglone constituent, that's the chemical compound that stains everything and touches everything, makes things black and dark. It's a powerful dye, but it also is secreted through the roots, and it makes other plants not want to grow in the soil around and underneath the black walnut tree. Very similar to redwood, eucalyptus, a lot of our conifers, through the compounds in the leaves as they drop around the base of the tree and compost, make a soil that isn't compatible or conducive to a lot of other plants growing there. So this plant is also really aromatic. If you scrape the leaf or the nut, or you just kind of crush it, it's got a really strong, really pleasant smell. Some of the actions, it's anti-parasitic, very strongly antifungal. So this is definitely one of our best antifungal remedies. In general, antimicrobial, so remember that's the trilogy of antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. It really literally moves critters out. So those are good keywords for black walnut, moves critters out. It's best when we tincture it in its fresh form, so the fresh green outer hull tinctured, and then we can also use the leaf dried as a tea. And it does have a slight laxative action, but not like senna, where it's going to really make a lot of cramping and digestive discomfort. It's a strong plant, but it's fairly gentle if you use it in moderate doses. So the tincture can also be used as a mouthwash on cavities, just swishing 60 seconds 3 times a day, or you can squirt the tincture on the cavity, which is really good to know because sometimes we don't have the knowledge of herbal support for our oral health. So a little black walnut tincture as well as echinacea tincture swished around the cavity or receding gums or any infection in the mouth is really, really helpful. We can use this plant for fungal issues on our skin, eczema, psoriasis, yeast infections, both internally and externally. We can use this as a support. It's also, again, the nuts are a really amazing wild edible food. So after, when they're ripe and they're falling off the tree, take off the outer hull. Inside is the shell, and then when you open the shell is the walnut, very similar to an English walnut you would purchase in the grocery store. However, they're smaller, a little more bitter, but delicious. And so you can harvest these, dry them, process them, and use them just like regular walnuts that you'd buy in the store. And they have a really great beneficial action on our cardiovascular health. So eating wild black walnuts is hypotensive, supporting our heart, decreasing inflammation, supporting our blood pressure. Other ways that we can use this plant, hearing the chickens in the background, they're saying hello today, all the animals are out. We can make it a soak and use this for athlete's foot or fungal infections on our skin or feet. Also, the tincture can be used on the skin as well. It's very astringent, and as well as a vermifuge, so again, moving critters out. And I think it's important just to say, I had mentioned this in class, that a lot of us think, oh, you know, these plants that are in general for parasites or cleansing out parasites are not, maybe not something that we need, or we don't resonate with that particular action for our bodies, but 95% of Americans have parasites. So just because we don't see things coming out in our stool doesn't mean that we don't have parasites. And just doing a simple cleanse with black walnut can, especially like spring and fall, when the seasons are changing, can be really beneficial to your overall health. So keywords energetically for this plant, for the flower essence, would be adapt to change. So this is a very amazing remedy energetically for adaptability. All life transitions. It's a really beautiful psychic protection, a link breaker. So breaking links, breaking connections that we have from realities that no longer are healthy for us, that no longer serve us. This is a great medicine to support us with new beginnings, our own shape shifting and the changes that we're going through emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's also just in general, like any upheavals in life, helping us to adapt to life's changes, which we definitely need at this point in time. So really surveying our lives, scanning our surroundings, tuning in to what is relevant to us, what's not relevant anymore, and what needs to be cleared out. So always reflecting and remembering that plants have physiological, tangible actions as well as energetic, spiritual actions, and often they mirror one another. So as it's clearing and cleansing things out of our gut and out of our digestive tract, it's also clearing and cleansing energetically from the layers of our energetic structure, which is a beautiful support. Also helping us to perceive and follow our true destiny, what's our purpose in life. And again, this is the flower essence I'm speaking of right now. Very helping us, very protective from outside influences that are feeling like they're against us or forcing us to change if we're not ready to change, and useful at any transition point in life. So again, helping us to break links with the past so that we can move forward and move forward with ease and fluidity. So again, just a little review, magical uses and energetic uses also include love, themes of love, themes of breaking old links that no longer serve us, and walnut as a container and a protector. So turn to this plant, you know, when you're interested in wild edible food, when you're wanting to have some support with gentle laxative detox action. And I really suggest like maybe an introduction to using this plant internally could be a very simple tea that you make with just a few leaves, maybe even just this many leaves, leaflets, just a little handful, that you steep with maybe some yellow dock root or some burdock root, things that are going to help to cleanse the blood and nourish the blood, even nettle. and just see how that feels for you, and drink that, you know, a cup of that once or twice a day, and see how that feels. But I really encourage you to work with black walnut, and I know some of you have, and I hope that this has been a nice little review. Have a beautiful day.